Let's start with a very simple exercise. I want you to imagine something. I want you to take a wild guess, a very simple wild guess. Imagine tomorrow the world is to be destroyed completely. Everybody is going to die. Everything is going to be destroyed. All the books in the world, all the knowledge in the world are going to be destroyed. But you are the only one person left on the planet. Perhaps with another human being like the opposite sex. And you are to replicate and multiplicate in the world. Now, what is the first and the only knowledge that you have to preserve to make sure that the next generation that you will replicate or produce will actually be able to reconstruct society as it was before? Now, pause this video and write down in the comment section what is that particular knowledge. I mean, the piece one knowledge that you will write down from all the knowledge being destroyed from science, physics, mathematics, philosophy. Think about whatever you want to think about. What is one piece of knowledge that you will write down, and knowing that even if you forgot everything in the world, with that knowledge you can replicate everything that the world has constructed to this point? Just write down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Now, I hope you've done the exercise already. Whatever your answer is, there is no wrong answer to this exercise. Now, let's take a step back. I asked you, what is the one thing that you will write down, like a piece of knowledge that you will write down to make sure that everything else in the world will be replicated perfectly and you will be able to reconstruct society as it was. Here, the most important thing that you notice is everything, like things in the world. And the piece of knowledge that you need is the piece of knowledge that will help you to replicate things. Therefore, that piece of knowledge must contain every law and every principle and every knowledge in the world to help you replicate things. And that piece of knowledge is called the atomic law. You already know that. Probably you've heard about that in physics courses. Now, I'm not a physicist by any means, and I never really studied physics, but that is something very common in our daily life. Atomic principle. You see, what is the atomic principle, or what is the atomic law? Atomic law is very simple, and it is the law that is the law that governs everything. Every structure and everything, every system in the world is governed by the atomic law. Now, there are several thousand of laws. We have the gravity law, we have many thousands of laws in the world. And of course, they are important, but they are made of atomic laws. And now, you're already wondering, what is the atomic law? Or what even is atomic? Well, atomic law is just state that everything is made of atoms. Well, what is atoms? Atom is just the smallest particle that compose or that constitute an element in the nature. It's very simple. That means everything in the world is made of just a piece of that thing. And this means when you can figure out the atom that constitutes the matter or the element, then you can just replicate the atom to get the size of whatever you want. It's very simple as that. It's not anything complicated. Well, we do very complicated with the physics formula, but the core principle of this is very simple. And with this particular knowledge, you can get everything you need in the world. You can replicate anything you need in the world. That knowledge will help you get into business practices, help you develop political practice, to help you to develop economical practice, to help you to develop mathematical practice, everything else you need in the world is hidden in atomic law. Now, that is the really first thing that you want to keep as the core knowledge in order to be able to reproduce or to replicate society as it is. Just imagine, everything in the world is just made of a piece of it. Just the cloth you're wearing is made of a tiny piece of that element that is made up to form the cloth. How do you actually make the cloth? By figuring out how first do you make the very little piece of that element, and then when you know how to make it, you just need to replicate it until you get the size of the element to construct the cloth. Even the camera I'm using to record this video, it is made of different part of elements or different part of small atoms or particles that are put together to form the camera, or even the mic. Even my hair on my head are just one piece of hair forming the whole hair on my head. Then even each piece of hair is made of different type of small particle, and that is how everything is made. Now, what does this mean to you as a young entrepreneur or as a young inspiring entrepreneur? This means everything that you want is just made of every little small steps, and once you can figure out how to solve or how to make $1, you just need to duplicate that until you make $1,000,000. Or if you want to make $10,000,000, you just need to figure out how $1 is made until you duplicate to get to $10,000,000. Now, what is the most hardest thing in the world then? It is figuring out how one atom is made. This means don't focus on building the world, focus on building one piece of the world, and then you replicate it, and the world will be taken care of by building the smallest part that constitutes the world. This also means don't focus on the big goal, just focus on the small constituents that form the achievement of the big goal. And that is how everything is made. Now, sometimes we get so trapped in thinking about the big step or the big way or the big thing that we don't feel like we can do it, because we don't see how this is constituted by very little steps or by very little particle that form the constitution of these big goals, the big vision that you want to achieve. You've heard this many times, like if you have a big goal, break it down to smaller, but you don't really know how it works. This is how it works, and this is based on a physical law, and this is because of a natural law. Even the trees or even everything, just think about it. Everything in the world is made of small particle, and once you can figure out how to make that little particle, you done it. You just need to replicate until it is done. It's not easy to figure out how to make that little particle. That is the most hardest part. That's how you have to try, and that's how it's based on experiment. You make experimentation until you figure out what works or what's not working. And now, here's the good thing. Everybody is looking for answers. And I remember as a kid, I was so interested and obsessed about answers about the world. I wanted to know, who is God? Where is He? How did He form the world? Or where was He before forming the world? And if God was somewhere before creating the world, then where was that world? Or who created God? Or if God has the power to create things, then where was He before creating those things? And nobody has the answers to give me. And actually, I myself, I don't even have the answers to those questions. But you see, those questions led me to question everything and trying to figure out how things are made. I know someone has to create something, but who created that person? And now you can figure out how that thing can be created and how you can duplicate it. And that's how everything is made. And everybody also is interested in finding answers. Now, what I was saying, here's this interesting, right? You see, everybody is looking for answers. You see, why people are in church or religion practicing different kind of thing, we are looking for answers. We are looking for answers of how to make things. You want happiness. Happiness is just a big idea. Happiness is made of little piece of things that are figured out together, or even money, even wealth. Wealth is not just a thing; it is a big things made of little things, right? And even a relationship is not just something. It's a big thing that is made of different things. Everything is made of different things, and once you figure out how to apply this atomic law in your life, and even there is a book called Atomic Habits. It is the same reason why it is called atomic habit. This means if you want to have a life, you just need to break that life down into a different type of a habit that you start building until you get to that lifestyle. Now, that means if you found a rich person, for example, and you look at their life, they have a certain kind of life, you want to try to imitate them. But that doesn't happen in a day, because first you have to figure out what is the smallest particle that form their life, what is the habit, what are the habits that they have that form their life, and you want to start imitating those habits, and it takes time. Now, it might be starting from first the routine that they have, how they eat, how they talk, how they sit, how they dress, and how they're grooming themselves, how who are their friends, how what they read, what they watch, and those things are the kind of habit that you want to start following until you know how to duplicate, and you know how to replicate it, and it can also happen in your life, because any it's not because you are different of color, or you're not speaking the same language, that using the law will not work. The law doesn't care. If you apply the law, it will work. That's how it is. If you apply the law correctly and it's accurate, you will find it's working. And now this is also an interesting point. How do you know something is wrong, or how do you know you are doing something right? And this is based on experiments. When something is right, you feel it, and when it's wrong, you also feel it. That's why we have emotions. Emotions are just there to tell you when something is working and when it's not working, because ultimately we are wired to feel when something is right and when something is not wrong, when something is wrong. So you try things, and before knowing something is right, you have first to find the wrong ones, what is not working, because you know if something is not working as you want it, you know it's not working. And then once you figure out what is not working, you can eliminate those and try different things until it start working for you. And that's why you have to experiment, and you have to try, you have to be speedy, you have to try quickly, you have to try things, you have to try new things. You want to learn new language, you want to accumulate new sort of knowledge. Now you have a bunch of knowledge that you want to relearn and know how they adapt, or how they fit into a new different kind of category of knowledge that you have. Because you know everything is made of atom, and knowledge as well, wisdom as well, is made of different type of knowledge that fit in together to form a sort of wisdom that you have. So as you go in, you are going to definitely acquire different sort of knowledge that are not all gonna work. Some are going to work, or some are not going to serve you. You want to try to eliminate them. Now here's the thing. Every knowledge that you have create a belief in you, and those are the type of belief that you also, maybe the knowledge is not working, those are the type of belief that you want to remove. And you have to be willing and flexible with yourself to know when something is not working, and accept, okay, this to be removed, you know. So this is it, and this is the most important principle and knowledge, that if the world is going to be destroyed today and you are the only one person left in the world, this is the first knowledge, or unique knowledge, that if you carry around, will help you recreate anything in the world, whether it's money, whether it's anything. You just have to figure out how the little piece of that thing is made and just replicate it. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes dedication, and it takes a lot of experiments to figure out the atom that forms the whole thing. And once you figure out, you've done it, you've just created it. You just have to multiplicate the atom to get the size of the thing that you want, and that is it. And that's how everything is made. That's how the cars are made, that's how the planes are made. And now you are asking, okay, how do you make experiments? Well, you have to guess things, you have to imagine. That's why you have imagination. You create things in your imagination, you create hypotheses in your imagination, and you try those hypotheses. And if they don't work, you try another thing. That is why we have imagination. We are all scientists in different ways. We try things, you automatically are born that way. As a child, you all cry. Why do you cry? you have if you cry, they give you food, and then you eat the food, you stop crying. That's the kind of a strategy experiment that you're making. Even as a child, as a baby, we are programmed to be experiments, to be experimentalists. We are always experimenting. Why don't you why do you stop experiment at this point of your life? You have to keep experimenting. You have to keep developing your knowledge. You have to keep growing. That is how you get to attain the kind of lifestyle do you want. First, you have to think about it, and that is why you have the imagination, and think about it in your mind and create the reality that help you get into that lifestyle. And there is a law for that, and that law is called the atomic law, that changes everything around and that replicate everything. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a physicist. I just take everything from different type of thing and put them together to make a sense of them, to help you understand something critical. And also, this is the same principle I'm applying. I make a lot of mistake in the process as well, because we are all experimentalists, and if you do things wrong, like, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect by any means. I do things that are not working, and I have to try them. So that's why you have to be honest with yourself, knowing, okay, this is not working. You have to try different things. You have to try it in a different way. This is simple. Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. But you have to be willing to be the experiment, to be the experimentalist that makes mistake and move fast. And there is no failure. Like, there is no failure. The failure, there is no certainly failure. Failure is not understanding how something works until you understand how it works. This is it. It's not failing. It's just simply you don't understand how it works. Like, for example, not being able to speak a language, is it a failure? No, it's just simply that you don't know how to speak the language. You can probably learn how to speak the language. The language is made of atoms. Like, everything is made of atoms. A language is made of words. Words are atoms of that language, and each word is made of letters, and those letters are part of atoms of the word, and each letter is made of type of characters, and those characters are also made of different type of atoms. That's how everything is made. Even, for example, a whole country is made of atoms, and in those atoms we can see different kind of institution in the country, and those institutions are made of atoms. Everything is made of atoms. We have the big atoms, we have the small atom, electron, you name it, everything. You have to, if you're interested in this, there are tons of content on YouTube talking about this law of physics and all that. I'm not going to dive into technical jargon here, just explaining and having the vibe of how things work and how to put this knowledge into your favor and to make them apply in your life and have results. Because everything you want, you just need to understand it is applied on principle, and those principles might be changing over time, but the core underlying behind the law don't change. Like, you just need to apply them and change how thing works, and hopefully it works for you. Keep trying and keep building. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of failing. There is no failure. The failure is just simply that you don't know how it works yet. So you need more consistent, you need more discipline, you need more trying. That's why you have to be interested in the thing enough to keep trying until it works. Hope you try, hope you keep trying, and hope you keep building and finding the atoms of everything that you want to build. And I hope you keep building, hope you construct the best thing in the world that help the humanity, that help your family. The humanity is made of people like you, who are the atoms of the human system that help us build compressed system around the world, that help the humanity live a better life. So I hope you, as an atom, you bring great atomic solution to the world, that serve the world in a better place. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing time. Poop.